Thank you, Vaishnav, for joining in today and giving us your precious time. So, we'll first of all begin with your introduction. So, what we do at Xartup is that we have a 30-second pitch. So, in this 30-second pitch, you'll explain to everyone on the panel what about yourself. You'll give your introduction and explain to everyone about your startup, what you are trying to do. So,
मेरे
tell
पास
me
नहीं
whenever you are ready, and we'll begin.
Sure.
होगा.
So, three, two, one, over to you, Vaishnav.
So good evening, everyone, and great initiative by the Xartup team. So I always love meeting, budding entrepreneurs who are trying to do something of their own, either at a very nascent stage or if they are, still deciding what to do, or already at a growth stage, and more so students and people who are still looking to take that plunge. So I'm always up for conversation with people who are getting trying to get into this field. About me, so as you already know. I'm Vaishnav. I am the founder of an organization called Aviotron Aerospace, and we have the product and the brand that we get it out in the market is known as Aerobay. So a long journey and has been a lot of struggles till now, but I think now we are at a moment where we can say we are a little established on growing away from the term startup at the moment now, getting into to be called as an SME, if you can say so, and we're into a very exciting field, education. And I already know you guys see a lot of bad thing about the edtech sector as of now, which is going through a very bad patch and went through a very golden patch during the lockdown time. So the sector itself has seen a lot of ups and downs, and I can be your guide through that sector because I've been in and around this for the last 6 to 7 years. We are four co-founders in the organization. That has also given us a lot of opportunities of how exactly you work with your colleagues, you build an organization that is profitable and scalable at the same time at a particular moment, whatever can be worked about. And all of us know each other from more than 14, 15 years. So we had a very strong bond and I went through a lot of ups and downs. Going back a little bit, so I did my schooling from Sainik School in Chittorgarh, even though I'm a South Indian. But my dad was in army, so we got settled in Kota, Rajasthan, which was his last posting. And uske baad se we have been, going through traveling to a lot of schools as any army kid would do. But I then settled in Sainik School. Then once I finished my school, I got an opportunity to go abroad. So I went to London, University of Hertfordshire, to do my bachelor's in aerospace. I was there for about 4 years, which is your average bachelor's plus a year of apprenticeship in UK. And then I also got a chance to work with Lufthansa Technique, which basically builds landing gears for your other organizations. So it is not per se an organization that works for Lufthansa, but kind of a subcontractor for other airlines. So I also had a little bit of opportunity to work in the manufacturing segment in the field of aerospace. But before that, during my graduation, I also had opportunity to do a lot of part-time jobs from subway to cafes to restaurants. So I had a very lively life back in UK. As soon as I finished that, then wasn't the perfect time to stay back in UK as Brexit was happening that time. And then parallelly, my other co-founders who were also in the UK but in different universities, we used to meet for Indian events, Holi festival, and all of those. So we used to discuss a lot of opportunities and problems that we guys were facing as students back then. And the whole journey of the organization started kind of coming from there, but it was all very subconscious. None of us planned that we'll ever open a startup of our own or get into this whole world. We were all average students back in India, did good when we went to UK, worked hard, earned our own money, but never thought of opening our own business. So sometimes opportunities come out of blue, and you never know what is going to happen in the next phase. Good thing was we always used to have a very open mind to the opportunities and problems around us. So when we were back in UK, the major problem all of us faced was after you finish your graduation, there was still a lot of lack in terms of academic aptitude and industry go catching. So there was a huge gap. And that was at the level of undergrad and postgrad. So my co-founder Neha did her postgrad. She's worked with NASA as well for 2 years. Still, we felt that gap, what we do study, and if we get it back to the school level, it is a massive difference. We have a lot of theory, a lot of exams, a lot of concepts, a lot of chapters, but ultimately, if you ask a kid ki trigonometry kahan lagne wala hai, nobody has any idea ki where exactly are you going to apply that in life. And that felt very hard. So all of our dream internships, dream jobs, we used to go through all the stages. We used to crack your GD rounds and all of that. But when it came to technical round, so I had experience when I went and applied for Mercedes F1 ka McLaren wala division. So they manufacture the Formula One cars for McLaren. And that was my dream job at the time. If I get into this, my life is sorted. And after all the rounds, the technical round, where the guy put a carburetor of a V8 engine in front of me. And it was a very simple question. Tell me all the parts. And till that moment, मैंने कभी कार का bonnet open नहीं किया था. And I had zero practical exposure in life. And a lot of experience like that, then we started realizing that our education is not at all getting us prepared for the real world. And but then we still got jobs and started working there. By the time we came back to India in 2017, we were very sure that we are not going to look for jobs. I think we all four of us hardly ever looked for any opportunities once we were back here, and we wanted to do something in the education field where we can connect industries, education, and give a good exposure to the students that they're well prepared by the time they actually get out of the school. So we started with colleges first. So because obviously we thought key college is the direct entry coming out of that, and we realized it is too late. Your kid has already gone out of hand, and they are not ready for anything. And more or less, especially for Indian families, that is the first time a student actually goes out of their home. So they have been pampered by their parents. घर का खाना मिल रहा है, you get everything sorted. And the first time you actually go to a college hostel, so they are totally not into education at that time. They don't want any more growth. And those who do, they don't need any help from. So the whole market was very spread out. We did not do good in the college segment, but we started realizing we were already too late. And then we did a lot of experiments. We started with workshops. I think we did drone workshops in almost all of the IITs. We did a lot of aero modeling workshops. So we were all aerospace engineers. So we knew that that is where we are good at, but we wanted to relate it to the entrepreneurship, the product market fit wala term as well. And we had zero idea of how to build a business that time. All four engineers, no business background, none from the finance side or from the business side as well. And all our families, nobody has done any core startup one. So we had businesses, but they were very traditional shops, paint ki dukan, these dukan, all those dukan. So no, so not at all how the new world business is being built. And but it actually took us to, and we started from Jaipur. So Jaipur had a zero startup ecosystem back then, 2017-18. And I think 2 years, 3 years down the line, Razorpay was the first unicorn that came out of Jaipur. उसके बाद still there was a lot of boost to the startup ecosystem back in Jaipur, but still it was very, very, very basic to begin with. We very in the early days we realized if we have to grow, meet more people, do a lot of networking, we have to move out of here. And pre-lockdown, we decided to move to Delhi, which we thought would be a good market to start. And by the time going through a lot of iterations, a lot of problems that we started seeing in the market, we realized that your K-12 school segment, your education segment requires a lot of support. So even though your schools have that potential that they can, guide the students, but they don't have the time. The curriculum does not help them, and they don't have resources. Your teacher, average B.Ed teacher, is not equipped to give out real practical applications when they themselves have never worked in the real corporate world. So there's no scope for them to, and that is where we saw a good gap in the market. So we have a lot of companies doing robotics, coding, design thinking, but none of them again had a clear scope कि सच में बच्चे को क्या फायदा हो. It is good in terms of hobby classes. Maybe you take a period in a week, and if somebody really likes coding, they can get into that. That is good. But again, not something which you can scale very big. And that also went online when
working
COVID came.
professionals are finding jobs the wrong way. They see a job post and they
Yeah.
Sorry for
Yeah. No worries. So then we started realizing this is a very big gap that we can fill. So we started building a whole ecosystem out of what we know. So we knew that we are very good in product development. We have a lot of idea about aerospace products, about drones, planes, and we knew that this is a very exciting field. That student might join with us to become a part of this, and then later on we can give them a full spectrum. Why don't we take on your science, maths, geography, history, and give you practical applications? So that is how Aerobay came into action. 2019, we started our first school in Delhi itself, and then we grew to 7 schools, and then lockdown happened. So again, a big blow because we were all physical. So we have a real setup in a school where we give them real products, asli plane, asli drone, where a student actually has to build. Then we relate it with a particular concept in their books. Then we give them a practical application. How can you actually relate it with an industrial job available or some requirement, or how do you get into the market? So it again took us a lot of time to build the curriculum. We worked with NASA in the lockdown when we got an opportunity. So we built the whole curriculum in collaboration with them. We worked with Discovery Education, and a few professors from our universities came on board because even your abroad countries, apart from let's say Finland or Scandinavia, they also have the same problem what we have in Indian education system.
Right,
theory,
right.
theory, theory, and no opportunities for practical education. Usually goes through the same problem. And I think US is the only one that has actually cracked STEM education. But uske alawa, there's not much scope outside as well. So we started working on quality products because we realized everybody else in the market just goes to China, buys a lot of electronic products, and sets up a robotics lab. That is the max the market is doing from the last 20 years. So there,
Mhm.
and if you actually look out on Google also, there is no B2B edtech unicorn in the country, which works with schools.
Okay.
Yes. So Educom was the one that became very big and became bankrupt very fast.
Yeah.
So they were the one that actually went to a lot of schools, sold a lot of products, panels, वगैरह. That time, that was the boom. Smart classes and
Mhm.
all of that,
Yeah, yeah.
2007, 8, got listed and then got bankrupted because of again sales and a lot of lies and quality products and all of those. Now, Lead School is the only organization which has gone unicorn, which work with schools. So one good example again in the market, but you can either look at it as a problem, nobody is able to get into this segment and build a unicorn product, or you can look at it as opportunity. It is maybe the entry to barrier is strong. People are not able to provide because education and your medical hospital is a emotion business also. Now, you can't just
Mhm.
focus on profits and products and all of that. Obviously, for your business to work, you will have to have your unit economics and everything strong and have to have a clear path to profitability and scalability. But still, education, we are selling it to a kid and their parents. So it can
Yeah.
never just be numbers and profits. It has to be based on a lot of emotions. Good thing, once they click with you, it's a very low attrition. People will not leave you. The schools will not push you out. Students would not want to find a new vendor. Zomato, Swiggy नहीं है ना कि आज इससे order किया कल उससे कर लेंगे. Education,
Mhm.
if they click and if they like your product, they'll stay with you longer. The people who
Yeah.
have liked courses from physics wala, they don't leave physics wala. So that is the kind of those who thought of buying Byju's at the beginning bought 6 years, 7 years of courses because they
Yeah.
thought कि third से 10th तक Byju's ही पढ़ा देगा. And so that was the trust that parents will keep on our edtech product. So we figured out a very big gap. And then we started building a whole ecosystem. So then,
Okay.
when once we started reaching out to schools, we have a full-blown product. So we have labs where you have all kind of industrial prototypes, CNC machining, 3D printers, drones, planes, rockets, वगैरह. So anything that moves in air, land, and water, a real industrial grade product. And then a proper integrated curriculum from grade 1 to grade 12. कि अगर आपके chapter में geography में if there is a concept of, let's say, weather or air or pollution, how do you use a product in my lab to understand that concept? Or how do you build a product in my lab to apply that concept? So then we build a whole integrated curriculum for CBSE, IB, ICSE, state boards, even governments. So we did a very exhaustive work on that. And now the model is established in more than 80 schools, 30,000 students. And so 3 years down the line, that is where we are at right. So
That's great.
lot of hiccups, lot of opportunities. But again, if your core proposition is strong and your business model makes sense, then you always have opportunities. Yes.
Right.
So
So, like, how did you build your first MVP? Like, how did you do the market research and like the product validation and the initial stages of your startup?
yes, so that I would say the process of 0 to 1, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of market research came out of actually getting into the market. And so we were not of the scope ki sach mein Google pe baithenge, we'll go through a lot of data. So sometimes it works for D2C brands, sometimes it doesn't. Because you're, especially for target segment where there is not much data available. And that is what happens in most of the cases. Even though your normal gurus will tell you, ki, "Achha, go through a lot of data, you can find do a lot of research. Sometimes it works. Your surveys are also very biased. And
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah. Yeah.
find, let's say, 10 schools or 100 kids, you'll do a survey that does not apply to the whole nation. And
Mhm.
India in itself is that much diverse. The same product which is sell in Delhi does not sell in Bangalore.
Yeah.
The same trainer which trains in Jaipur would not work in Kolkata. And so a lot of diversification is what we require. But what we did was we sold our product in batches. So initially, even when we shifted from colleges to schools, we said what we are good at. So we are good at, let's say, a drone workshop or a plane building workshop. And we did small MVPs of that. He let us do 5 hour drone workshop in your school. So,
Okay.
and we never did anything for free. So I don't believe in anything for free. If you're giving it for free, I don't think the customer will value enough. Or if you can build enough metrics to validate that the paid has gone to free has gone to paid. It
Mhm.
works sometimes in your apps and marketplaces, but not in your B2B segment does not work. So we were very sure चाहे 200 रुपए हो चाहे 2000 रुपए हो, but the customer will have to pay from day one. And for that, we build our presentations, we gave demos, and all of that was already there. So we started working from science days, science exhibition. We'll do a small air show for you. Then if 50 students join, will you be interested enough to roll it out to the whole school? And then we realized we'll have to, because still these workshops and shorter MVPs will never convert to a full blown model where I'm asking the school to, let's say, spend 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs for a annum just on, and that might be 8 to 10% of their overall revenue for the whole year. So for that, what we did, we cracked that. So schools, the market we divided in three segments. Your early adopters and that particular concept that you follow, and then your 10% early adopters who are interested in buying anything new in the market. And same applies for D2C, same applies for our segment also. Then 50-60% was those whom, if you convince them enough, they will give you an opportunity. And 20-30% chahe aap unko kuch bhi becho, they don't want. So there is no time wasting, no point wasting time on that. So those 10% wala, we spend time on that. So we started going to exhibitions. We saw who all are the directors who attend all the exhibitions, even though if it is related to them or not. We started figuring out directors who like speaking at events. So that means they like fame, they like getting out in the market, they like speaking out, कि अच्छा हमारे school में तो हम ये कर रहे हैं, this and that and all of that. And so we started catching those people. So the initial 7 schools that we did was from zero net. I met them at a random event. I gave them a pitch. They were not convinced. Then I found some other guy, yaar, please get me a reference with the director again. Then when I met them, they knew, oh, acha, I met you at an event. Okay, tell me what you do, this and that. And from school one, we made profit. So the unit economics was very clear. The first school itself, we made money out of that and we invested into the business. So we did not raise any funds at that time. The whole first year pre-COVID, we never raised any funds. It was all bootstrap. The money that I was getting back from the school, I used to put it. So MVP and product market fit, we became a little, we were a little tricky in terms of we wanted to do it in different regions. So I did one school in Delhi. I did one school in Jaipur. I did one school in Nagpur. I did one school in Odisha. So I was trying to get a lot of data as much as possible. And the trainers that we place in the school. So all 4 founders, we ran one school completely on our own. So we were the trainers. We did not hire a trainer till then because we wanted to go through every possible problem that will come out of that model because it was a full blown service model. पूरे साल भर service देना for a school and actually making sure that they're happy at the end of the year. So it is a full blown service model. So वो हमने खुद किया. And then when we did all of that, then we started building processes. Okay, this is how we can make sure we have the full responsibility. Trainer is coming to the school time पे या नहीं, and how many classes are they actually missing. What is the effectiveness of the course and the content that they are sharing? Product quality kitna strong है and all of that. So we went through that in those stages. That is how we worked with the MPP.
Okay. So you are currently working with the private schools only, or have you expanded to the government schools as well?
No, so we've just recently started, even though it is still not our major focus to work with government schools, because ultimately in your government sectors, it is better for the projects which have direct contribution to them. For example, if you're a drone building organization, then it is better you work with defense to begin. But government school segment is so big, you have no idea payment kab aayega. There is no guarantee of the timelines. So if you have deep pockets, then you start working with government schools. Otherwise, you don't get into it. Fortunately, we won the Maharashtra State Innovation Award. So we got a pilot from Maharashtra government to do it in 3 schools. So I run it in Thane, Bhiwandi. So now I have it here. So now I have that model to showcase it to some other MP or MLA or government segment. So now it is easier to get into this.
Right. So you were recently on the Shark Tank as well, and if like the episode didn't air. So how was your experience with the Shark Tank? What was the process that you had to go through to actually appear on the Shark Tank, and how was your pitch there?
Right. So Shark Tank was a very crazy experience. Unfortunately, we did not come on TV due to a lot of reasons. Because number one, it was season 1. So the organizing team itself was not prepared that how many slots will they get from Sony and how many startups will they be able to showcase. And we were in Dubai that time. So my co-founder Neha won the Thai Women Global Finals. So and they called us suddenly कि आपका shoot होने वाला. So we flew directly from Dubai to Mumbai. Same luggage, no extra clothing, nothing. We bought new suits there, everything here in Mumbai. And then the kind of requirements that they had. Can you get a kid right now who can fly in the tank? a drone or a plane. I said, hello, we are not from Mumbai. And, it takes me at least 2 days to arrange a material or a product back from Delhi office and all. So few reasons because of which we did not get here. But in terms of the kind of people that we met, so now down to season three, I have all the 500 startups with me on my WhatsApp. So
Okay.
anywhere, so it is a very strong alumni group now. Anywhere these people get stuck in, they need mentorship. We get stuck in, we need support. So I have every possible founder in that group. D2C, food, all of them that you've seen on the TV also. And a lot of them were in my batch. So I know them very well. Season two, season three. Now we have at least two annual get-togethers, one in Delhi, one in Mumbai. So it's a very strong networking group. And in terms of experience in the tank, so the pitch that you see is hardly, I think, 5 minutes. What is aired on the TV, right?
Yeah.
But the whole experience that we have with them is of around 1.5 hours, and it was
Okay.
बहुत लंबा था, very exhaustive, and ours was on the third day. तो पूरे 3 दिन we used to go 7 a.m. in the morning and रात को 11 बजे निकलते थे बस. And it was in your Goregaon studio, just behind where KBC and Kapil Sharma show that show. So
Okay. Okay.
we used to do a lot of time pass in those sets. We went to the KBC set, Kapil Sharma ka set. We used to see the shoots there, but it was jam packed for the 3 days. In my season, Ranvijay was the host, so we had some
Okay.
opportunity to interact with Ranvijay.
Mhm.
But and the shots were also very new, so the deals were very bad in season. Now to season three, they're still fighting with each other. Ki, I'll give you 1 year, I'll give you 2 year. I've seen a lot of startups whom I think the maximum deals that they got were 25 lakhs for 35%, 30 lakhs for 20%. So they were very bad deals what they got in season one. And what they were offering us also was very low valuation compared to what we already had a commitment outside the time. So we said, and
Okay.
anyways, none of them had an education background in terms of
Mhm.
working with that tech startup. They're all D2C, they're all for products. So it was good for other brands to work with them. We did not see any opportunity in terms of कि आगे कितना help करेंगे. I did not see that because the kind of equity and percentage and the valuations that we're doing it makes
Mhm.
sense if it is a strategic investment. If that guy will actually help you grow, get you a lot of networks, but
Mhm.
we did not see them anywhere in the education segment. So then the valuation didn't make sense. But overall, the experience was nice. Meeting new people, networking, building a lot of those things. And we got funded because of our Shark Tank experience. So later, even though we had a soft commitment before that, but when
Mhm.
my investors came to know that you went to Shark Tank and all of that, then they again started talking seriously. And then they connected me with one of the investors in Dubai, and those guys eventually invested in us. So yeah, indirectly, it worked good for us.
Oh, okay, crazy experience. So, what are your future plans? Like, what are you currently involved in, and how do you see the tech market right now? Like, Byju's is failing, and like, what are your future plans of
So
this?
EdTech is, I would not mince my words, is going through a very rough patch.
Yeah.
But for the D2C segment, the B2B segment is always open. If you still have a good quality product and you can give it out to schools and they see, good outcome coming out of that, people are still open. I still know a lot of brands, even though they did not pivot to full scalability and all of that, but they've still been in the business with schools for 15, 20 years. So, and they're doing very good. Some of them are out of India. So they work out of Singapore, and a lot of them were Singapore and Dubai. So they do business there. So that's why they're not even listed or counted as Indian startups as of now. So you don't see them doing very
Mhm.
great here. But in terms of the market, huge market, and I think every second X number of bache are getting better. So you never, the target market is never going down. So
Mhm.
your education sector is huge. If you actually can do something, but you have to be very honest. Is it actually adding value? Or is your service improving existing service which is in the market? That is where founders have to be a little in terms of introspecting themselves, and like, you have to be very true to yourself. Sometimes we become so dear to our own ideas and startup कि हमें लगता है कि नहीं जो आप बना रहे हो वो अच्छा ही है. And the confidence is good. You have to have the confidence, otherwise dunia will kill you. But you also need to have a little practical aspect. Ki what is available in the market? How are we better than that? And is the customer willing to pay more for? So you do not have to compromise on terms of the price which is getting in the market. All my competitors, just to give you an idea, sell below 1,000, 1,200 per annum. And I
Okay.
sell in the range of 5,000 to 8,000 per annum. And still
Mhm.
I'm doing more and better business than that. So price does not constitute what you can actually do. And where I'm required to go down in government schools, and there I do that. But where the market can actually pay, you do not have to go down. So EdTech is going through a gray patch. But those who are still working on good outcomes, investments have gone down, definitely, because the people who had zero idea about the sector were just riding on the COVID wave. They did a lot of investments and lost a lot of money during the COVID. So now they have,
Mm.
half of them are totally gone, and half of them who have now done the mistake of investing in a startup where they're losing money, they will again not put money for at least some time till they recuperate it from a profitable startup. So in that sense, but all the segments are going through that. So not just tech. All your segments are still going through a rough patch of down investments. I think we are down to 1/5 of the funds that we raised last year, the whole country, compared to what we do right now. But still, there is a lot of opportunity. And the same thing, how we say there are no jobs. But if you're actually skilled enough, nobody's stopping. So
Mm.
the same logic applies here. Still, your 95% startups close in 3 years. But still, those who are putting, enough work and smart work, is not the time of hard work anymore. You have to be smart enough to judge the market, take the right opportunities, say no to things at the right moment. Still, there are a lot of opportunities. We even at the moment when we were not looking at funding, we got approached by investors from three different countries. So
Okay.
without zero media, and we are nowhere in your story वगैरह तो वहाँ पहुंचे भी नहीं है अभी है ना. Still without
Mm.
zero media presence. Currently, we are raising around from Japanese. So I'm
Okay.
not even picked an Indian investor. I don't want to go through that whole dramatic process. So I have picked Japanese people, and they work with the student community back in Japan. So and only thing I did with them in terms of due diligence, visit our office and will take us to one of our schools. So
Mm.
they actually sent somebody from Japan, and we were shocked. एक हफ्ते में they sent a guy from Japan, and we thought, कि अच्छा ठीक है, it is going to be a little tricky and a language communication, all of that. And we were shocked that guy spoke Hindi. तो we thought, अरे ये क्या हो रहा है?
Okay.
Those guys are so involved in India, and he learned the language. He said, Arani, I've stayed in Mumbai for 6 years. And I can speak Marathi and Hindi also. I said, great. So we took them to a school, and he spent proper 3 hours, spoke to all the students, spoke to principals, spoke to the management. And then when they got convinced, they said, okay, we'll do it. So there are no lack of opportunities. The market is still open. It is become little harder to find it here and there. That's like
Mm.
you still know good channels where to apply from and building networks. And if you think sitting at my laptop and I'll shoot out mails to 1,000 investors, might work, might not work, but you have to build networks. That is where we focused a lot. We used to attend a lot of events. So I've been a member of we've been a member of BNI. We've been a member of any book and book possible where we see कि अच्छा पैसा नहीं लगाना है, but we still get a lot of networking. We did that, and that is where we met a lot of people, a lot of networking, a lot of opportunities. I still know at least 70 investors who never invested in us, but we are at very good terms with. If they ever travel to Delhi or if we are in the same town, we catch up for a drink. So that is the kind of relation we created. That is it.
So thank you, Vaishnav, for all those wonderful insights.